Imagine a hockey stick glued to a puck, a 6-foot Swede carving figure eights while defenders bounce off him like they've hit granite. That impossible hybrid of silk and steel is Peter Foppa Forsberg, two-time Stanley Cup champion, Olympic hero, and, according to the new Netflix documentary The Underdog, the most misunderstood superstar of his era. But before highlight reels painted him invincible, Forsberg was a wiry teenager skating dawn to dusk on frozen ponds in Örnsköldsvik, Sweden, wondering if he'd even crack Modo's senior lineup. What transformed that kid into the NHL's ultimate puck puppet master? Stay with me, because the answers involve a trade earthquake, a near-fatal leg injury, more than 25-foot surgeries, and a sacrifice so raw it made grown teammates tear up. These deep dives take one exhausted researcher countless hours. So smash that like, hit subscribe, and let's unravel the legend of Peter Forsberg together. And to understand where the legend truly begins, we have to lace up on a windswept outdoor rink in northern Sweden.
It's a steal, and Forsberg trying to barge in! Forsberg in! Scores! Peter Forsberg!
Örnsköldsvik isn't big, barely 30,000 people, but its rink has birthed enough NHL icons to fill a trophy case. Kent Forsberg paced that rink's boards with a stopwatch, barking at his son to hold the puck for 5 uninterrupted seconds, while older boys tried to knock him down. Balance drills replaced wind sprints, puck protection trumped slapshot speed. By 16, Peter was bullying grown men in Sweden's second tier, using hip torque and core strength to turn defenders into leaning pylons. The world took notice during the 1993 World Juniors, where he posted an absurd 31 points in 7 games, a record that still mocks the stat sheets. Yet when the Philadelphia Flyers drafted him 6th overall in 1991, the home crowd booed, baffled by the skinny kid with the impossible umlaut. All that small-town sorcery was about to collide with the ruthless calculus of NHL front offices, and Forsberg's name would become a throw-in for the most lopsided deal of the decade.
And it was knocked away from him. Now here's Forsberg. Moving right in! He scores!
Still chasing a marquee North American centerpiece, Philadelphia sent Forsberg, 5 other players, 2 first-rounders, and $15 million to the Quebec Nordiques for Eric Lindros. Reporters called the Swede a sweetener, and Quebec fans shrugged. But Peter had no intention of vindicating anyone right away. He shocked the league by announcing he'd remain in Sweden, out of sight but hardly out of mind. That decision to stay home wasn't retreat. It was a 3-year masterclass in self-reinvention that would arm him with every tool he'd need when he finally crossed the Atlantic.
Games. Forsberg across the line. We're 4-on-4. Forsberg again. He scores!
From 1991 to 1994, Forsberg treated the Swedish Elite League like his personal laboratory. He packed on 20 pounds of muscle, dissected forecheck patterns on endless film loops, and absorbed Håkan Loobe's mantra, "The puck moves faster than skates." He emerged bigger, stronger, and tactically ruthless. When the 1994-95 lockout ended, he flew to Quebec and casually dropped 50 points in 47 games, nabbing the Calder Trophy as if it were pre-ordered. But just as he settled in, the franchise itself packed its bags for Denver, a relocation that would test his lungs, his limits, and his legacy. The freshly branded Colorado Avalanche burst into the Rocky Mountains with swagger. Until Game 20, Forsberg slammed thigh first into the boards, rupturing blood vessels so badly doctors feared amputation. 10 days in a hospital bed forged more resolve than doubt. Sports psychologist Cal Botterill ran visualization drills where Peter pictured every board battle, then chose the fearless outcome. Within weeks, he torched Detroit for a first-period natural hat trick in the Western Conference Final, turning the Avs' maiden season into a cup coronation. Yet every fearless charge carried a hidden invoice, and Forsberg's body was about to start collecting with painful interest. His right foot began to rebel. Surgeons would eventually log more than 25 procedures, dubbing the condition Forsberg foot. Still, he averaged over a point per game, and in 2001 helped drive Colorado to a Game 7 Cup showdown, until a ruptured spleen forced emergency surgery. From a hospital bed, he watched his teammates lift the trophy for veteran Ray Bourque, crediting Forsberg's earlier heroics. Many expected him to fade, but the next summons came from an even higher stage, one draped in Swedish gold and Olympic rings. Turin, 2006, groin muscles torn to ribbons, nightly cortisone injections, and the captain's C stitched over a chest that could barely inhale without stabbing pain. On paper, Forsberg's 5 assists looked tame, yet everyone came at a crucial pivot. An offensive zone faceoff won cleanly, a no-look pass that froze 2 Finnish defenders, a backhand feed that set up the eventual game winner. Off paper, he was everywhere, blocking shots with an already bruised ankle, barking Swedish encouragement between grimaces, even volunteering to kill penalties so coach Bengt-Åke Gustafsson could rest the younger legs. Teammates recalled him limping down the tunnel only to re-emerge, visor fogged, insisting, "Just tape it tighter." When Sweden sealed the 3-2 classic, Forsberg skated the victory lap last, saluting the crowd with a stick he could barely raise. Later he joked, "If my body quits tomorrow, at least it quit for a gold medal," but trainers remember him collapsing on a folding chair, ice bag strapped from hip to toe, whispering, "Worth every needle." That chair became a familiar perch back in North America. Each comeback grew shorter, every custom boot more experimental, and the hockey world sensed an inevitable farewell, one that would end in record time Hall of Fame validation. The post-Olympic years were a carousel of hopeful headlines and heartbreaking pressers. Philadelphia hoped he was the missing piece, but after a blistering 115-point pace through 2005-06, Bone Spurs shredded his ankle lining, and he was traded to Nashville, where 8 sublime weeks ended with swelling so bad trainers sliced open his skate tongues. He retreated to Modo, returned to Colorado in 2008, and dazzled with a 3-assist night before the foot flared again. Specialists in Sweden, Denver, even Vancouver built Frankenskates with carbon cutouts, but the pain always won. Still, February 2011 saw one last 2-game cameo, 2 assists, plus a signature reverse hit on Duncan Keith that rattled the glass and earned a standing ovation. Then came the final locker room scrum. "I can play injured, but not broken." 3 years later, the Hall of Fame committee needed all of 5 minutes, long enough to pour coffee and nod unanimously. His speech mixed humility and mischief. "Maybe I left a few goals on the table, but I never left an empty tank." The crowd rose twice. The second time when he limped off stage yet paused to flip a puck to a kid wearing a vintage Nordiques jersey. That flip wasn't just a souvenir, it was a baton to a new generation already binge-watching his clips. And pop culture was about to put Forsberg front and center once more. Today's hybrid superstars, Nathan MacKinnon, Leon Draisaitl, even women's phenom Sarah Fillier, cite Forsberg seminars as required viewing. Shield the puck like a vault door, hit like a linebacker, think 2 passes ahead. When Netflix dropped The Underdog in 2024, it debuted at #1 in 32 countries, sparking TikTok montages of his spin move assist to Claude Lemieux and the infamous reverse hit that launched Rod Brindamour's stick into orbit. The Colorado Avalanche capitalized by retiring his number 21 a second time in a legacy night that filled Ball Arena with throwback Nordiques sweaters and Swedish flags. Meanwhile, a 2025 New Jersey Memorabilia Expo advertised 500 Peter the Great autographs. Organizers added 200 more slots after VIP passes sold out in 6 minutes. Beyond the merch, the Forsberg Foundation quietly funds para-hockey rinks across Scandinavia, echoing his belief that edges and elbows belong to everyone. Parents now huddle with their kids at local ice centers, muttering, "Watch the hips, no one used them like he did," while coaches queue up his highlights to teach balance through contact, which brings us full circle to the real takeaway of his journey, one that stretches far beyond stat sheets, silverware, or even swollen ankles. Peter Forsberg proved that greatness is an engineering puzzle. Leverage beats size, grit beats pain, and daring beats doubt. He solved every variable until scoreboards bowed to his will. His 1.25 points per game hint at what fuller health might have yielded. The ferocity of his reverse hits reminds us what it cost. So next time a modern powerhouse muscles through the slot while threading an impossible pass, remember the Swede who did it first, did it bloodied, and did it laughing.